Welcome. My name is Dan Person, and today I'm demonstrating the return on investment when using the reusable McCain wall system. The walls we're talking about are those temporary barricade walls that go up during any phase of a project to separate the public from the project construction area. The information I'm providing today comes direct from a case study done jointly with the University of California, San Diego Health Center, and their Hillcrest Hospital. Their infection control department purchased a McCain wall system approximately 2 years ago, and they've reused it over the course of 10 projects. They purchased a 30-foot run of wall with a reconfigurable door that could be placed where they needed it. They were previously installing drywall partitions, and they wanted to get away from that dusty, time-consuming process. After reviewing the available products on the market, they chose the McCain wall system. Their very first installation took place in a doctor's lounge. You'll notice this is the actual installation, and you'll notice 3 doctors were at work on their computers while the McCain wall system went up. The McCain wall system is reusable, air-friendly, it does not produce dust, it's recyclable, and because it's recyclable, there are available lead points because you're avoiding putting waste into a landfill. The McCain wall system is comprised of U-shaped panels joined together with a bottom and top track, and everything is joined on the back side of the wall through pre-configured openings using a cordless drill. The system includes commercial-grade components, such as your door and a commercial-grade lock set. That lock set standard is provided with interchangeable core, so it can be key-alike to other doors within your project system. When completed, the McCain walls present a sleek, modern appearance. And they're structurally stronger than steel stud and drywall. Now, you've all seen this before on a project site. This is a level 3 drywall partition prior to it receiving primer and paint, as would be the case at the UC Hillcrest Hospital. Now, to erect that wall, you first have to build a steel stud frame to which you attach the drywall panels. Then you have to apply a plaster and tape system to seal up all of the joints and smooth out the areas where the screws went in, and then you let that dry. There's sanding involved, and then you primer it and paint the wall. Now, what we're looking at for labor costs on this, these projects with drywall systems typically take place in the wee hours of the night on that third shift between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. It's a very narrow 7-hour window. It also usually incurs prevailing wage rate. So we've taken the prevailing wage rate for drywaller, Southern California, at straight time of $58.05 and added a standard project markup of 15% to get to $66.76. So when we look at the costs, again, we're comparing the reuse of a 30-foot run of wall with a single door. The McCain wall's components purchased by the hospital came to $3,257. For the install phase, you'll have some expendables, being gloves. And the install process for the McCain walls took 3 men, 3 hours. When you go to the removal phase, again, some expendables, a cleaning product to wipe the walls down for their next reuse. And that entire removal phase took 3 men, 1.5 hours. That was a total for between install and removal of 13.5 man hours, with a total on-site shift duration 4.5 hours, which is an important factor. When we look at the drywall, as I had mentioned, before you can even put that drywall up, you have to do a containment. It's a dusty process. Then you can install the drywall components, but before you can leave that install site, even after the install process, you'll have to decontaminate the area and remove that containment. For the removal phase, again, you'll have to put up a containment. It's a dusty process. you'll have to tear down that wall, and the product, all that waste will have to be taken to a dumpster, which of course has to be provided. The dumpster will then be taken to a landfill. So you've got all the hours involved in that. It's very labor intensive. This again came from the university's actual use of drywall prior to the McCain walls. 52 man hours, total on-site duration between install and removal phases of 19 shift hours. That's a difference of 14 and a half hours on site between doing drywall and McCain walls. Looking at the cost, the drywall system came to $4,792. When you compare the two on that first project, the McCain walls, even with their more expensive components compared to drywall, much less labor intensive. So the cost even on that first project is less for the McCain walls than the drywall. We're looking at 10 projects used at the University Hospital. And when we go to projects 2 through 10, looking at those costs, you've already purchased the McCain walls. So only the labor and expendables repeat. And you will have the addition of one McCain walls component every other project, which is a very minor cost, to allow for shifting the door as needed, wherever you want within the wall system. Those components and labor come to $966. Looking at the drywall, all the costs from that first project would repeat, except for the cost of the door, which could be reused. But even after taking the door out, you still have a cost of $4,392 per project for drywall. A huge difference, more than 4 to 1. So what did we save on these projects? Number 2 through number 10, you're looking at a savings of over $3,400 every time you reuse the McCain wall system when compared to drywall. Looking at that from a return on investment perspective, you take that benefit, the difference between the McCain wall system and the drywall system any given project, and you take that benefit and divide it by the initial cost of the McCain walls component. On the very first project, the University Hospital experienced an ROI of over 18%. On the second project, or the first reuse, you're achieving over 100% ROI. But over the course of 10 projects, the Hillcrest Hospital was able to achieve almost 1,000% return on investment. So we're talking about a 30-foot wall, and they achieved a savings of $31,420 with an initial investment of only $3,295. Hugely significant. Also, they saved time. We went over those shift hours, the actual time spent on the project site. They were able to cut 14 and a half hours off any given project. With that narrow 7-hour window, install window, that's a savings of greater than 2 days for every project. Over the course of 10 projects, or maybe 10 phases on any given large project, you'd have saved more than 20 days off your project schedule. You're also going to have safer projects. We've discussed the issues with drywall, all of it, labor intensive, messy, requires silica containment. Keep in mind that silica dust produced by drywall is a known carcinogen. And then there's the landfill fees and documentation. And removing drywall or installing is a really messy process. And why would you even want to expose your projects to that? So also we kept 12,000 pounds of waste from going to a landfill over the course of those 10 projects. That's the waste produced by the actual drywall and its components, and those containments that had to be added for the install and the removal. So 40 cubic yard dumpster eliminated from a landfill and no toxic waste. All that, and you've got an enhanced customer experience. Here's a picture of a installation done at San Diego Airport where they erected a passenger walkway because they were installing a sky bridge above. This walkway went up in one shift. They're referring to the McCain wall system at this airport as the miracle wall. It came down in one shift and left no no residue, no damage. Here's an example of the McCain wall system in another part of the airport. It looks like it belongs, like it's part of the airport. Here's San Francisco Airport. Hundreds of feet installed in a high traffic area while enabling them to repair some equipment. And here's your project side. People walk by that thinking it's part of the airport. On the public side. On the project side, they've got a really sturdy, impenetrable wall from the perspective of normal passenger use, and installed in one evening. It's also graphics ready. Here's several examples, and it's excellent for providing wayfinding. So why choose McCain walls? It's quick, it's easy, reusable, reconfigurable, and it's green. You're avoiding those landfills. It generates cost savings over and over again, dramatic cost savings, and it highly elevated your customer experience. So jumpstart your return on investment and accelerate your project schedules by installing reusable and reconfigurable McCain walls. To learn more about our product and to see examples of our many projects, please visit our website, www.mccainwalls.com. Thank you for joining us.